One of the most intriguing of all was the issue of Jose Rizal, was his alleged retraction, which was all about his subversion of the Catholic faith and all other issues linked to it, such as his marriage to Josephine Birkin. That issue was claimed to be true by the Roman Catholic defenders but asserted to be deceptive by anti-retractionists. They claim that the retraction document is a forgery, but handwriting experts concluded a long time ago that it is genuine.
The House will come to order. Good morning, everyone. I am pleased to welcome you all to our History Debate 2021. The circles through one of the most controversial issues in the history of the Philippines, the instructions of Rizal. On behalf of our House, I welcome our educator for this morning, Judge Joyanne Felimeniano. Let me now all be seated. So now, sitting on my right side, the government, while on my left side, the opposition. For our motion, this House believes that the acts of Jose Rizal before his said execution have caused renouncement in Masonry and attractions against Catholic Church. Starting off, for our Prime Minister of the government is Ms. Flor Delisa Catubig. Flor, you may now defend the motion.
Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, we the government leader Jose Rizal for Ateneo and rejected his statement against Catholic Church. Document presented to the public is strong evidence that Rizal had truly withdrawn in Masonry and retracted. Let us first address the document. First, the letter of Rizal of his mother received on January 5, 1893. The letter says that Rizal had been going to the church every Sunday in the absent list show that Rizal had truly returned to the church. Next, the testimony of the eyewitness, Father Balaguer, who with Rizal and presented the retraction format prepared by Father Piyukay, the Superior of Jesuit Society in the Philippines. Before the execution, he stated that on December 20, 1896, the day before execution, Rizal have accepted and signed the document. On May 13, 1935, Father Manuel A. Garcia found a document of Rizal retraction. Isn't the account of the eyewitness not enough proof of retraction?
Thank you, Ms. Flor Delisa Catubig. Now for the Leader of Opposition, Mr. Julan Galupo. You may now rebut the previous statements and provide the constructive for your side.
Good day, Madam Chair. We the opposition believe that the said documents were forged. According to the online source, Joserizal.ph, maintained by the Jose Rizal University, the path of the document. Forgery was revealed to Father Balaguer himself. Father Balaguer said the call remembered those exact copy was the document, and even Father Piyukay could verify in his own statement. The copy of the instruction paper that was said to be signed by the Rizal was even kept secret and was only published in the newspaper who claimed to have seen and read it. When Rizal family requested for the original copy, it was said it was lost of 39 years later. The original copy was found in the Archaeodiocesan Archives instead of in Bengal. It only caused more arguments and questions in many people because of significant differences. In the text of the retraction document, according to Ricardo Pascual, the PhD, who was given permission by the Archbishop Rosalida to examine, the documents later concluded in his book. Resolved beyond grave, the documents presented was a forgery. Moreover, Rizal didn't expressly say that he retractions monarchy. He only said that he hated masonry. So how it is a strong evidence of withdrawal and retraction. And even you say the Rizal really retracted. How come he was still executed? Wasn't the retraction enough for the salvation of Rizal?
To thank the leader of opposition. Now, let us call the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. J. Abuso.
In your argument of the forgery of documents, it is also reasoned out in the same side what the Archbishop and Father P. saw was not the original document retraction. And additionally, the retraction is significant document because it is established that the act of marriage between Jose Rizal and Josephine Brown in the Pitan, the condition to them to be wedded was the retraction. No retraction, no marriage. In other words, Rizal could never marry Josephine unless he retract first. And the sworn statement of the eyewitness like Father Balaguer agreed there was a retraction. And marriage between the two, moreover, after his marriage, Rizal dedicated a Catholic devotional book of his two sisters, Josefa and Trinidad, as well as his wife, Josephine, which in his dedication mentioned to my dear and unhappy wife, Josephine. Aren't this book of Catholicism? And additionally, he said in his letter, I abominate Masonry as an enemy of the Church and a society prohibited by the Church. He used the word abominate, which means to detest, the highest degree, abhor. And in this case, he used a stronger language that I retract Masonry. Likewise, Rizal was suspect of rebellion, sedition, and illegal association against Spanish government. The retraction document isn't related to what he was accused of consequences. It does not save him for execution.
I would like to thank the Deputy Prime Minister. Now, let us call the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Ms. Charmy Caballero.
It is surprising that you speak of marriage when in fact there was no document of marriage between Josephine and Rizal. Consequently, a number of Rizal's writings and letters does not mention Josephine as his wife. Correspondingly, Rizal did not even call Josephine wife. In his last letter of Mi Ultimo Adios, which was the last written text of him before his execution. In that letter, he said his farewell to her as follows: Adios, dulce extranjera, mi amiga, mi alegría, instead of Adios, dulce extranjera, mi esposa, mi alegría. More so, if Rizal died as a Roman Catholic, as you have argued, then he should have been buried properly fitted to him. And as for us, his burial was still concealed with mystery because it is said that he was buried in a lot out of the Roman Catholic cemetery in Paco, and his name did not appear in the registry for Roman Catholics. In these circumstances, did Rizal really die as a Roman Catholic?
Thank you, Deputy Leader of the Opposition. Now, for the government whip, Ms. Melita Makiling, you may now say your final word and conclude your side's argument.
The documents of the marriage having been mentioned in Josephine in Rizal's writings, it is explained in Garcia's account in his book, The Great Debate. Rizal retraction that Father Manuel A. Garcia found or discovered the retraction letter, including the marriage certificate of Josephine and Rizal. It is also explained why Josephine was not mentioned in Rizal's writing as his wife. It is because they were married before the execution or earlier their marriage. More so, Rizal Mi Ultimo Adios, the last official writing of Rizal, was written a day or so before the execution. In other words, before the marriage. In addition, it is possible that Rizal was not buried in Roman Catholic Church. Be- was because he was already accused as a traitor against the Spanish, and even though we Filipinos know that he is not. It is logical to think that the Spaniards didn't want an enemy to be buried with decency, and Rizal was no exception to that. In conclusion, Rizal truly adjured Mansouri and retracted his affiliations against the Catholic Church for the reason that Masonry is the enemy and prohibited by the Church, and Rizal was starting to return to his church. In this case, Rizal did not fight the Catholic religion. Rather, he fought those who abused her religion and manner that the friars practiced during that time. All these reasons are proved and evidenced by documents presented and found by people as well as the statements testified by eyewitnesses.
I thank you, the government whip. For the opposition whip, Ms. Colleen Rogador, you may now also conclude your side's argument and recite your final words.
About the related Catholic books that Rizal gave to Josephine and his sister. This doesn't much weigh as evidence, as Josephine was still in the Catholic faith. It was only fitting that Rizal gave her Catholic-related materials, but this doesn't mean that Rizal had finally retracted his words against the church. Moreover, about the forgery of the documents, there are 3 copies of the documents about the retraction. The first one indicates a year of 1890. The second one changes it into 1809C. And the final one, the written year is 1896. Isn't this enough proof that there was a forgery of the retraction? Even Father Balaguer, who was an eyewitness, has some inconsistencies in his statements. We therefore conclude that the absence of the marriage document of Rizal and Josephine and his burial outside the Catholic Church cemetery of Baco shows that Rizal did not retracted back to the church. The lack of sufficient evidences prove that Rizal's retraction was just a false accusation.
Thank you, opposition whip. The debate proper is now over. Thank you all very much for the great agreements. May we now invite both sides to cross the house. Let us now hear what educators think about the performance of our 2 teams. Judge Joy and Filomeniano, please give some comments on both team performance and the results of today's debate. Since both sides have already presented their arguments, let me give my remarks for each side. For the government side, they have given the proposition and defended the motion, while the opposition side refuted and rejected this motion. For this session, the government side have presented their propositions and testimonies from eyewitnesses that are directly involved in the said event. You stood by the reason of Rizal's retraction, which is to marry Josephine. Though, one thing I wanted to question is the presence of the Rizal's retraction letter. While the opposition side have mentioned about forgery of documents and presented mere critics, theories, and allegations about the motion, and although presented sources, it seems that it has bias as it came from a school favor of Rizal. Therefore, the winner of this debate is the government side. Yet, despite this controversy, it does not make Rizal less of a hero. It does not devalue him, for he made significant things that opened the eyes of the Filipinos. Through him, the nationalism and patriotism of Filipino was lit and now been forever burning. With that, I now declare this House adjourned.